Welcome to Vinyl Happy Hour. If you're wondering why I'm in a jungle for this Vinyl Happy Hour, stay tuned because I've got a very special record that goes right along with all these plants here in our place. And to start off the top of my Vinyl Happy Hour, I have a very special limited indie store exclusive record we want to talk about. And then I've got a little battle of the box sets here going on. And I'll throw in a Christmas tune just because 'tis the season, you know, there's a good one that just dropped. Every week here, we like to talk about some different and interesting records. I'm Skylar Davis, owner of Culture Shock Clothing and Records here in Rockford, Illinois. And I love digging into my personal collection, and I love seeing all the records that are getting released, especially the stuff that's dropping at independent record stores. So we're gonna give you a little lowdown on that first, and then we'll talk more about the plants and the box sets. But 30 Tigers, they're distributing records. They did a great release, a great job with the Jason Isbell record this year. And it helped between Sturgill Simpson and 30 Tigers draw a lot of interest for this new Cut and Grass. This is like bluegrass recut kind of versions of Sturgill Simpson songs. And the indie store exclusive is green and yellow vinyl. I don't know if that's just like their favorite colors or if it's got that John Deere theme going on, kind of that Americana thing. But it's pretty interesting. Plus, it's kind of bluegrassy, so kind of a take on grass. Probably a little weed influence even, who knows what. So it's appropriate that it's yellow and green. Anyway, I got a little Woodford Reserve. This is actually the malted Woodford Reserve. Got to keep a little Kentucky. This was recorded in Nashville at the Shed. So these guys got together, did this excellent recording. So there's a full band here. I'll show you the back of the jacket too, because there's actually a pretty large band. There's a lot of bluegrass elements here, a lot of drum, a lot of fiddle, a lot of banjo, a lot of acoustic guitars. This is a great release from Sturgill Simpson. As you can see, this is volume 1. So there is a volume 2 out. We only have a handful of this limited exclusive green and yellow vinyl. This is a great sounding album. So do get it while you can. We're gonna actually have the link down here on our YouTube video. So you can pick it up at cultureshockshop.com. If you're local, you can choose to pick it up here in store, or we can ship it out to you. But don't miss out on this. And if you do, I mean, no big deal. The black vinyl version of it should be available for a while. And then pre-orders are already going on for the volume 2 of this, which is gonna be a single LP on like blue and white vinyl, I believe. That's gonna be an indie store exclusive. So we really look forward to see what's gonna be happening with volume 2. I'm not gonna talk about the plants quite yet. I actually wanna move on to something else. So we'll get to the plants in a second. I'm gonna talk about some box sets. So this is one, you know, I'm really into a big variety of music, and I'll tell you, Mac Miller, I kind of caught on a little late to Mac Miller. And sadly, he passed away last year after one of his best drops, which was Swimming. And then Circles, his posthumous album, came out, and that was really cool. He went from doing, you know, a little more kind of laid-back rapping, and on the newest album, Circles, was actually kind of more of like a kind of a swaggerly indie rock album almost in a way, with just a lot of cool funk and soul and some hip-hop. This box set, what is this called even? Is it just called, oh yeah, it's called Swimming in Circles. So this is his last album, Swimming, mixed with his newest album, Circles. And they did this really cool die cut box set. I just love the way that this all fits together. Everything's die cut. You can see the barcode and the label and everything like that, but it's kind of a minimal packaging. It does come with a poster. You got all the lyrics to all the songs, but you get the album Swimming and you get the album Circles, double LP, and each one is on color vinyl. So double jacketed here just to make it longer on camera for me to open up for you. But as you can see, the Swimming in Circles does come in, let's see, I think the Swimming is on dark blue and the Circles is on light blue vinyl. So it's a double LP, very cool packaging, very minimal in a way. There's hardly any photos or anything on the jacket. There's your 2 colors of blue. As you can see, you've got the dark blue and the light blue. But what's really cool about it is, even though there's a lack of artwork going on with the actual jacket and box itself, there's unreleased photos. There's a whole book with photos from the recording session. Mac Miller actually produced this album pretty much for the most part on his own. Great production value on it. Really cool though. If you haven't listened to his last album, Circles, it's got a little bit of kind of like a psychedelic indie rock vibe, you know, like a electronic indie rock. But very sad about his passing, but really great to see this package come together. And his family actually worked with the record label to get this distributed. But the photos are really cool to see some of his final, you know, his final times in the studio and things like that, everything that came together. And there's some pictures of him jamming around with the guitar and producer and stuff like that. But just, it's really weird to see that these albums are both released separately, but now you can get them on this box set. So when I heard about this box set coming in, first of all, Swimming I actually don't have in my personal collection. We have been ordering the heck out of that for the last couple years since it came out. Always selling, always selling. So it's always sold out pretty much. We're getting it in and selling it out. It's just kind of how it's been. And then Circles has been a good seller too. Circles came out on clear vinyl, so I was thinking about picking it up for myself, but then a while back I heard about this box set, and although it's a little more expensive, I really like it. And I don't have really any of his other albums, so I was like, this would be the one for me to get. I think getting Swimming and Circles together in this box set would be really dope, and I thought they did a really cool job. Very cool minimal packaging, nice thick cardboard box set to hold it into. But the die cutting, the artwork that comes with it was just really cool. And of course, Beyond Color vinyl is nice too. So there's another box set now, something that actually had been out digitally a while ago, and I didn't think it would ever come out on vinyl. Because Beyonce's kind of weird like that. She's very protective over all of her music and stuff like that, and some of her stuff is very limited. But when something comes out, she does a great job of the packaging, the release, and the quality. She actually produced this, did all the music direction on the Homecoming album. So this is a 4-record set. And you can just hear the depth, and you can hear the excitement in the audience. This was what, Coachella 2018, Lauren, I think? I believe so. This was live, and there's music from like her whole career. There's also some cool guest spots with Jay-Z, Michelle, and Kelly from Destiny's Child did an appearance too on a few songs. But
it's from 2019.
2019, thanks. So I remember we were trying to watch it and stream it a little bit live, but it's a 4-record set. Again, the box set comes with this elaborate booklet. It must be 40 pages of all the photos. There's so much stuff. You can see all the outfits, all the band. This album is something that was meant to be on vinyl, I think. This is meant to be an experience. If you're going to listen to this again, if you couldn't experience it live or be there, I think hearing it on your stereo, hearing the excitement, hearing her command all the performers, all the musicians together in unison. Yeah, it's a very emotional experience, especially for Beyonce fans. I can tell that there's a lot of elements to this going on. So the box set, it's really cool. It's got a lot of photos in nice inner sleeves. The booklet is very nice. Lots of photos, a lot to take in, a lot of music. But I think hearing this on your phone or your iPod, whatever, on your earpods, isn't enough. I think having this on vinyl, it does it justice. On the big system, it's like a central part of your listening experience, but it's just so cool. I love to hear all the like the marching band stuff going along with the songs. That's just got so many elements to it. And like I said, you can just hear the anticipation of everyone and hear everything going on in the music, even though you're not watching it. But yeah, it's just really cool. I thought it was a really cool box set. It's not an indie store exclusive or anything, but it's available to independent stores, and it's really pretty affordable. I believe it's like $65. So for getting 4 records and a booklet and everything, that's essentially what, $16 a record for all of this Beyonce music. So it's definitely a good value also. Considering it is Beyonce, I felt it could have been a lot more expensive or could become a collector's item for sure. It may not stay in print long. A lot of times a box set, there's so many elements to the packaging. I'd pick those up when it's available. So speaking of packaging, that's available. All of these that I'm talking about tonight are actually still available, and they're on our website at cultureshockshop.com. This is where all my plants come into play, though. This is a really strange album, but I'm really happy that it's seeing the light of day again and getting released. This is Plantasia, music composed by Mort Garson. He had done a lot of experimental, electronic, bizarre, psychedelic music, 60s and 70s mostly. But this is music that was especially composed to aid in the growing of your plants. So no better time than the pandemic of 2020 to reissue this warm, beautiful mood music created for your plants. I even love the sticker that they cut out for it too, and it talks about how this is the first authorized reissue, and it's got a care booklet and everything. It gets better though, it gets better. So it's also audiophile cut. There are songs, let's see, there's the concerto for Philendron and Pothos, and there's Rhapsody in Green, there's You Don't Have to Walk a Begonia, there's Music to Soothe the Savage Snake Plant. But Sacred Bones actually did this. They've done a lot of other experimental, electronic, and psychedelic artists. This is a really nice, thick jacket gatefold. It's a double LP 45 cut. with a little booklet too, and more. It's got stories about each song and how it aids in the growing of your plants and stuff like that. I'm sure this was a stoner classic though. I'm sure there's a lot of people. It's all Moog music, so the Moog synthesizer is what composes a lot of this music. I think one of the coolest little details, sorry, I should have had this out. Oh, there it is. This is the little download card for it, and it's got your download code, but it says plant this underneath a thin layer of soil. The seeds are actually inside. There's wildflower seeds inside the download card. So you can plant some wildflowers after you use your download card. So that's a really cool eco kind of thing of them to do. But the music is very Brian Eno-esque. It's very calming, very soothing. So I think it's very appropriate for people who need a little bit of soothing music themselves. And supposedly, you know, it's good for your plants also. Whatever kind of plants you have, I'm sure it'll work. But just a really cool release. I believe this came out originally in '72, and it was being sold, I guess, in like stores like Sears and other random stores to, you know, enhance the growing of your plants. I'm sure some people were growing plenty of other things trying to help grow their plants at home. But that is, yes, Mort Garson, Plantasia, warm earth music for plants. Definitely gives me some Brian Eno vibes. I've listened to some of his other music. I had actually never listened to this till just recently. But it's very cool, very kind of trippy. This last one I'm just going to throw out there real quick. I've probably talked about Between the Buried and Me on Vinyl Happy Hour 4 dozen times. I don't know. Somehow they keep coming up. One of my favorite, most metal, epic, proggy rock bands ever. But this is my favorite album of theirs, Colors. And this is the 2020 remix and remaster. This came out in '07. And in '07, we all know that was a dead time for vinyl. This has been remaxed actually. It's been remaxed and remastered for optimum sound quality, and it is freaking loud. It is sharp. It's great. I dropped the needle on one of my favorite songs on here, Son of Nothing. It's side B. It is a double LP. It's like 64 minutes long. That's the whole B side of the album. And I barely hit the volume on my amp, and it's just so loud. It's just like, oh, good sounding. But there's nothing special about the packaging, really. It's just a nice double LP, as it has been, just plain white inner sleeves. But there's the key. That's what makes this hot. You know that this is even printed on there. That's the 2020 remix. That's a great sounding pressing. Kraft Recordings did this. They've also just recently reissued like the Norma Jean and some other stuff. Actually, they even did Sir Lord Baltimore. They did some older psych stuff. So just wanted to point that out. That dropped today. We also have that link for you. And Christmas is but upon us, so not only are we going to go drinking coffee and liquor and looking at Christmas lights tonight and stuff like that, but we can come back and listen to some Christmas records. We also have, this is the first ever holiday song from Offspring. They actually, haven't heard about them for a little bit. This is a single-sided record. This just has Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. They did their hot take on that on red vinyl, very Christmassy. And the B-side, I don't know if you can see this. We'll try to get the light glaring on it. There's the classic flamey skull logo, the Offspring logo on the B-side. And they also have their little logo on the Christmas ornament on this little 7-inch record. So it's just an A-side record, just the one song. But it's really interesting to see that, you know, even though there's a punk rock Christmas album, Offspring, I think they stand out above a lot of other bands. So they did their exclusive release. They got in on the Christmas game. I wouldn't have expected Offspring to do a Christmas song, but maybe they're getting older. Maybe they just enjoyed that. I don't think they need the money or anything, so not sure why they released it, but it's cool that they did, and it's nice to see that there's a lot of other bands giving us a lot of Christmas options besides the traditional what have you. But yeah, that's my vinyl happy hour for tonight, guys. Christmas is almost upon us. Thank you so much for supporting us this year throughout all the crazy pandemic. Those of you who've been able to support us, we appreciate it. And those of you who send kind words, shoot us comments, messages, share what we do are awesome. So be sure you subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this video, make sure you've already subscribed. Then you'll get a little update and notice too if you subscribe, and give us a like too. Leave us a comment on what you're listening to, or what you're drinking, what's your favorite Christmas record. We love to get our comments, see what you guys are up to. We love to see your orders coming through our website too. We appreciate that. For those of you who don't live in the Rockford, Illinois area, thank you so much. And to everyone else, we'll see you next week for another Vinyl Happy Hour. I think we're going to do a Christmas one, but we'll get one to you soon. Till then, cheers.